How much does the Galaxy S25 Ultra cost to make? This phone costs $1,300. And according to Sam Mobile, Samsung has sold over 9 million of these by the end of the month of May this year. Crazy. Doing my napkin math right here, that's like $11 billion. But obviously the costs are not that simple. There's a lot of things that go into making this phone. Not just the things we're talking about today, but they also do tons of marketing, research and design, all the other things to facilitate the companies. All of that goes into making this product. And we're not disregarding those, obviously. We just don't have those analytics. But today we're taking more of a PC build approach. If you were to take all the parts that are in this S25 Ultra and take them separately and combine them basically into one phone, how much would it cost to make and how much do those parts cost as well? At the end of the video, we'll be revealing the final cost of how much it actually costs to make the S25 Ultra, the internals, the parts, the outside, all of that. And if you're curious, I have a full document rundown of all the costs, all of that information that I get from all my sources. So be sure to check that out if you're curious. Okay, we're gonna start with the screen, the thing that everybody sees. On the S25 Ultra, it's equipped with a 6.9 inch 3120 by 1440 quad HD display, which is nuts. And this thing is beautiful. The screen is totally flat. We're kind of going away from those curved displays, a little bit less touching on the hands. We're liking those flat edges right now. But the screen is also equipped with 120 Hertz, which is amazing. And this thing is buttery smooth, beautiful to look at. But they sourced this display from the Samsung Display Co., which is one of many separations of the Samsung brand. And it costs $135, which also includes the Corning Gorilla Armor 2 glass on the front of the actual display. But this display is obviously hugely important because it's the main thing you see. If you have a crappy display, then like your phone's basically crappy. Now for the part that I feel like everybody raves about is the actual processor, the brains, the thing that makes the phone go. In the S25 Ultra, it is equipped with the brand new Snapdragon 8 Elite that's basically specifically built for these Galaxy devices. It's a 3nm chip with 2 high-performance Orion Prime cores, clocked at 4.47 gigahertz and 6 performance cores at 3.53 gigahertz. So that's like some serious power. Like gaming on this thing has been beautiful, no issues. It's just like, it runs things so well. And I've run volume shader tests, all sorts of things on my shorts, and this thing is a beast. The Geekbench score is also off the charts, same with Antutu, so like insanely fast phone. This chip is designed by Qualcomm and it's fabricated in Taiwan using their bleeding edge 3nm N3E process, which is why the part costs so much. And the processor is actually the most expensive part of the whole entire phone, and it comes at $160, quite a bit. Next section we're gonna talk about is the cameras. And obviously cameras are hugely important. If you don't have an insanely good camera on your phone, I don't even know why you'd buy it, because half the time, like, the reason you use your phone is to take pictures, to record video. I feel like it's hugely important. But luckily, the S25 Ultra packs an insane quad camera system on the back. It includes a 200 megapixel camera that costs $33 to source. And then it also has a 50 megapixel ultra wide, which costs $28. And then a 50 megapixel 5x telephoto lens that costs $30. And then a 10 megapixel 3x telephoto, which costs $10. And then the 12 megapixel front camera, which costs $10. This actual setup is pretty insane, and they've upgraded the UI a ton and the color rendering of the camera, so it looks absolutely beautiful. I've tested against the iPhone 16 Pro Max and many other phones, and it is spectacular. Not to mention the OIS and the stabilization is exceptional on this phone. But all these are supplied by the Samsung LSI system, and some of the modules are possibly made by Sony, not confirmed or not. But then we also have like stabilization, autofocus, and then the lenses, which are made by other companies like Semco and Sunny Optical, that also costs another $25, making the whole entire camera setup cost $136, which is the second most expensive part of the phone, but rightfully so. Insane.
Also, I just wanted to add a little plug for this new app that I have been using. It's not sponsored, don't worry, but I've been using this AI tool to basically recreate myself in some of my videos. The tool is called HeyGen, and it literally clones me perfectly. Like, this is me. So yeah, if you want to check it out, I'll leave that linked in the description if you want to try it out for free.
Next thing we're talking about is the actual memory and storage of the phone. So this phone is running 12 gigabytes of RAM and then also 256 gigs of storage on the base model. And this is UFS 4.0 storage. And that means that you basically get crazy fast read and write speeds and enough memory to keep a ton of apps open, even without refreshing. Most of the memory is made by Micron in the US, but the rest come from the actual Samsung semiconductor department. Obviously, this makes for running several apps at a time, no problem. Running games, like I don't think there's a single game that can make this like lag extremely hard. I'm sure there's one out there maybe, but even like the volume shader makes it lag just a little bit, but not too much. So very impressive on the S25 Ultra right here, but that whole thing costs $65. All right, now for the next section, which is the battery. This is probably one of the most important parts because like if you run out of battery, then you can't even do your phone. Doesn't matter how powerful it is, but you gotta have very efficient batteries, good battery. This thing has a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, which is massive, and it's equipped with 45 watt fast charging and Qi 2 wireless charging as well. So very nice. Love to charge your phone fast, obviously not a new thing, but the battery can easily last a day, no problem. High gaming, it has no problem, runs exceptionally well. And the battery is sourced from the Samsung SDI company or the ALT battery company, and it just costs $12. So super cheap. Next is the frame and the actual materials. So this is the part that you kind of touch the most, right? Is the frame and the materials that make the phone. And this year we have titanium because we're not copying Apple because nobody does that. This does help for heat dissipation. I really like that. I like the titanium on the sides. And then on the front, we also do have that Corning Gorilla Glass on both sides, which is super scratch resistant and excellent for scratches and drops. And honestly, it just feels like a solid glass, beautiful device. I'm not even gonna lie. It's amazing feeling. Very cool to the touch luxury feel. They're sourcing the glass from Corning, obviously, and then also random titanium suppliers, all sorts of different titanium suppliers, and then just make it in-house. And all of that coming to a cost of $65, which is a good jump because last year was $50, so we added another $15 worth of supplies, which I would imagine is just the change between aluminum and titanium, the higher quality material. I'm all for it. Then as for our last section, this section is more of a compilation section because there's a lot of other parts that go into making a S25 Ultra like this. Like you have the fingerprint reader, you have the charger, you have all the modems, you have the S Pen, you have the vapor chamber, and all sorts of different parts. And a lot of those are extremely cheap. And that's why they didn't make it into the upper part of this list, is because they're super less expensive than the other things. So all of that together comes to a total of $85, including the S Pen, including everything else that we didn't cover in the earlier part of the video. But yeah, these are obviously things that add extremely a lot to the phone, but we don't have all the individual screws and all that. It's just not publicly available. All right, and now we're gonna reveal the final cost of the Galaxy S25 Ultra and all the components. When you add it all up, including the display, processor, cameras, memory, battery, materials, and just everything else, the total cost comes to $658, which is just 51% of the retail price of the $1,300. And of course, this doesn't include software, marketing, R&D, shipping, all those other details. This is just the hardware alone for the phone. But now you know, you are holding $659 worth of phone in your hands. And I think that's pretty good value, honestly, because they probably have a ton more costs and they probably have like a 10% profit margin. That's how much it costs to make a Galaxy S25 Ultra. If you like this series, be sure to like it and comment that you do like it, so I'll keep making videos like this. But yeah, anyways, make sure to like, subscribe, and peace.